Right. One part I think is very weird is, to a fan, whenever I read like the way they remember history, their storyline goes like this, mate. They're with us up until this point. They agree, you were really good in Dignitas, but then they always make it as though like, and then, he wasn't that good after that. It's like, what I find weird about that is when you went to G2, which was the team that became FaZe, like, a few months later, this was the period where, like, sure, it wasn't the same G2 org it is now, like, it wasn't as huge, but still at the time, they had big money. That was the whole reason this team sort of got founded, because it was all these international players coming together. And again, it was kind of like, a lineup a fan would make on HLTV. It was a bunch of like skilled names, but the problem is you looked at the team and you were like, where's the fucking in-game leader? Like, what roles are these players going to play? And so I remember looking at that lineup and being like, this is weird, because it's like making a football team with like fucking like, like 4 strikers and 5 wingers and you're like, like 2 central midfielders or something. It's like, oh, how's that team going to work? So I remember, mate, when I look back at that team, I actually think of all the players in the team, you actually still looked like you got your frags. You still looked like you did pretty well all in all. I think the team had big problems. So what would you explain at that period of time? Like, was it actually a confused team inside? Like, what was even the mentality of how you were supposed to play? Because again, you're all coming from all these different countries and trying to mix together. What was it like?
I think like G2 back then was like the first international team, at least like on a high play. Like
yes,
yeah. So for me personally, I think I was like I transferred my play from Dignitas back then to G2 like pretty well. As you said, I remember as fragging pretty good as well, and but it was also a very chaotic team, but I didn't really think about that back then. I just wanted to try something new back in Dignitas, and I had to get used to like this English communication. So when you think about it, like there's a lot of new stuff that you had to get used to, and were in like negotiations with FaZe back then when
yes,
and G2. So there was a lot of stuff on our mind, and it was a really weird like period of transferring from G2 to FaZe, but I think like overall it went well, and it was a very chaotic team because we didn't really have an in-game leader. I think Dennis maybe were like the in-game leader before I joined, and he joined Fnatic, I think. So I think it was like, and I also remember that over the like next months that I even tried to in-game lead at some point. Yeah. So it was a bit like back and forth like of the players, and we just wanted to have like a play style where everyone knew like everyone could do something and everyone like would react on their like plays. So it was chaotic, but if it worked really well. So yeah, that's like my memory from FaZe in the beginning.
Did you actually enjoy playing that team? Because on the one hand, like I know, especially if people feel like their skills are going, you often want a little bit more freedom in the game. And listen, like MSL, like you're saying, back then you had like a very strict system. Yeah. At the same time, though, when the strict system works, there's a reason people do it. Like I think that's part of why Charles is doing it at times. If it works, it looks fucking awesome. You win the game. So how did you handle that? 'Cause it's a pretty big contrast to go from like MSL to, I mean, you're the in-game leader eventually, like you said.
It was weird, but it was also kind of fun because you came from this. Obviously, I had a lot of freedom in Dignitas because of my level back then. So you just like automatically gain more freedom. But it was fun doing like whatever you kind of wanted to, and people just follow up on that. So it was like completely different, and I actually really enjoyed playing in FaZe Clan, and I also miss it a lot after I joined North. But yeah, it was a really fun period of my career. But it was also like very challenging, and sometimes we lost like really big to teams because we didn't really have any structure.
Yes.
So it was like high risk, high reward play styles we had, like, so yeah.